guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the brand new Buzzworthy Bumblebee Transformers 86 Broken Ironhide and Prowl, a box set that was released in Target, exclusive for Target, around $55 for these specific characters that were killed off in the 1986 film, and they do have their broken parts on these figures. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the figures, take a look at the articulation, the details, and all that stuff, transformation, comparisons, and whatnot, backdrop, and box. Everything's for this review. So without further ado, let's take a look at the box. Right here we have the box art for our Transformers 86 Ironhide and Prowl, based off the scene where they are brutally killed by Megatron and Decepticons. Right here on the front side of the box, we have Transformers the movie, Studio Series Transformers, 8624, 8620, Ironhide and Prowl, Buzzworthy Bumblebee. We get that Buzzworthy Bumblebee artwork, which I despise, but we do get a nice number right there, 86, and we have BB standing for Buzzworthy. On the back of the packaging, we have product shots of both Ironhide and Prowl in their modes, in both of their modes, robot and car form, with those damaged parts. And I really do like that they made this specific figure. These specific figures. I already had Ironhide, the normal version, but I will delve into why I'm kind of mad about this version and Prowl as well later on into the video. And right here we have a really nice CG render of Ironhide and Prowl right here in their robot forms. On the top of the box we get Transformers the movie, Studio Series, and at the bottom the words. And fortunately, I found this guy at $16.79 at Target. I did make a post about him recently, and I'm pretty sure he's at Target for a limited time only at this price. So if you're at Target, buy him right now at that really cheap price, because honestly, $55 worth for two figures that are both deluxe scale is not really worth it. I'll tell you that. So without further ado, let's take a look at these figures. So here we have Ironhide and Prowl out of their packaging. And first off, let's start with Ironhide. I already have an Ironhide figure in my collection, so this will be easy. It's basically the same thing if you watch that review. So yeah, now instead of our plain face, we have an entire new head sculpt right here. An open mouth head sculpt for Ironhide right there. We can see him basically in agony and pain. Right here we can see that little hole right there is basically where he is shot by the Decepticons, and right here we got a whole broken windscreen right there. It's just really nice attention to detail. Even right here we can see like little cracks and stuff. I'm not so sure if you can see it, but there are little cracks right here, a lot of cracks on the window, and some internal detailing right there. On the top there wasn't really anything, and honestly this figure is actually a little bit better. But honestly, here's what really gets me mad. If they give us a broken windscreen pieces, they could have also given us a fixed windscreen piece, and also another head sculpt as well. Because why not the original have like transparent blue, and this one is animation accuracy, but it's got that it's got the face in pain and the broken windscreen. It's pretty lazy on Hasbro's part, kind of a missed opportunity they had, but nonetheless, I think it's actually really nice. I really do like this figure. Giving it a full 360, we can see a lot of details and everything on this figure, some mechanical detailing as usual for these figures. So yeah, that is Ironhide right there. So he is basically well detailed. It's probably the same thing as the original that I got a few months back. But yeah, now let's take a look at Prowl. Now Prowl is a whole new experience to me. I have never owned a figure that shares the same sculpt as Prowl, so I will delve a lot into this. So taking a look at Prowl, we can see a really nice head sculpt right here at the face. Also in a painful agony face as well. We get some broken headlight detailing right here. We get some engine detailing coming out, and we get some internal detailing right here, some detailing on the legs right here. Unfortunately really hollow, as I believe this is the same sculpt as War for Cybertron, so they did reuse this sculpt because I'm not so sure why. Maybe they didn't want to take time engineering a new sculpt. I think it was alright because this sculpt was pretty nice. However, I just don't like the hollowness. I feel like they could have done better, but I'm pretty sure this is the best Hasbro could do at the moment for this character. We get some nice detailing on this figure. We have the Autobot logo. We get some nice mechanical detailing. We have the police logo mixed with the Autobot logo on the door. We get some really nice detailing right here. Internal detailing, I did notice there is quite a few right here and right here. And we have that little arrow right there. I'm not so sure what that's for. That was basically present on a lot of Transformer figures, and we have those siren headlights. So yeah, that is basically Prowl's detailing. Not so crazy like Ironhide. But now let's take a look at the articulation. For Prowl first. Let's first focus on Prowl. He has a ball joint, can look up, down, tilt very slightly side to side, look left and right. He has a swivel joint on the arm, hinge joint in the arm. Could go past 90-degree bends, but due to transformation, he has a swivel joint on the bicep, past 90-degree bend and at the elbow. Yeah, and I really do like this. I'm just gonna remove the accessory really quick. He does have 360 range of motion on the wrist, which is really, really great for a deluxe class figure, because most of the deluxes that they've made haven't had that articulation. And now, speaking of articulation, you just did see that this figure has a mushroom peg right here for waist rotation, and unfortunately, it is very easily to take off. I'm not so sure why, but I'm pretty sure if there is an upgrade kit, they should fix that right there. He could do the splits. He could kick back to that far, and this thing separated again. He could kick front to that far. The knees bend past 90-degree bends, mostly due to transformation. And as far as the feet go, he does have a pivot at the ankle. So yeah, basically this figure is really well articulated for a deluxe class figure, and I do like that. It has a lot of range of motion. Reminds me of the Studio Series Jazz and other figures. Now, let's take a look at Ironhide. Right here for Ironhide, it's the same thing as the original. So he has a hinge joint right here, swivel joint right here, 360 on the bicep, 90-degree bend at the elbow, 360 range of motion on the wrist. I really do like that. His head is on a ball joint, can look up, down, tilt side to side, look left and right, basic thing. He has a waist rotation. He could do the splits. He lifting the skirt up to kick up to this far and back that far. He has 90-degree bend at the knee, and he does have a lot of range of motion on the foot. So I'm so happy that Hasbro has engineered this figure to have so much articulation and so much animation accuracy. It's probably one of my favorite figures in the collection. It has to go to SS Ironhide. So yeah, so basically that was these figures' articulation. Now, I do want to point some things out on these figures. So they are given numbers 8624 and 8620, 20 being Prowl and 24 being Ironhide. If you wanted to get these figures separate, you cannot. If you cannot get one without the other. So yeah, you're gonna have to buy this. And like I said earlier, buy it at Target right now. Like when this video posts, just run to Target. I'm literally not kidding. Find this figure and then show them a price tag that says $16.79, and you'll get it at this free price. And I am kind of sad to see that we are getting these exclusive figures in Buzzworthy and not in a separate mainline like the rest of the figures, because I would have really loved to see that box art for these figures, but unfortunately we're not gonna get that for these figures. Oh well. So speaking of figures, now let's take a look at how they scale with one another and other Transformers. First, starting off with Ironhide and Prowl, we can see that Ironhide is in fact larger than Prowl, and they are both around deluxe class standard height. Although Ironhide is considered a Voyager, I still consider him a deluxe for being quite small. For the go-to comparison, here we have Optimus Prime here for Ironhide, which is honestly, how do I say, this is just like animation accuracy at its finest here with Optimus. Go to comparison, here we have our previous Studio Series 17, 8617, regular Ironhide and Prowl, just to show you how our old Ironhide and our new Ironhide look. I'm just saying that I prefer the new one just because of the animation accuracy, but I prefer this one because of the clean windscreen. I'm not so sure why Hasbro did not include a clean animation accuracy version of this. They could have easily done it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they could have done it because this would have just made this figure look cleaner and better, and I would have loved to see this in those colors instead. So yeah, that is basically what I just wanted to mention. For some of the 1986 Autobots, I brought in Hot Rod, Cup, Jazz, and Cliffjumper, just so we could get a comparison on how big Ironhide and Prowl are compared to these characters. I brought in some of the War for Cybertron Autobots. Here we have Huffer, Pipes, Trax, and Inferno right here. So we can see how big Ironhide and Prowl are compared next to these characters. Deluxe class Wheeljack here as well. And here we have a Decepticon comparison next to Ironhide. Basically, Soundwave and multiple Decepticons were the ones that fired shots at Ironhide and Prowl to kill them, mostly Starscream and Megatron in the film to kill these two characters. So yeah, just to give you a glimpse of how tall the Decepticons that killed them are to their victims. So we can see that Soundwave and Dirge are in fact way taller than Prowl is, and Ironhide barely stacks up to them as well. Here I have the backdrop here for these characters, so we can see that it says 8624 for Ironhide and 8620 for Prowl. And we're here Transformers, the Autobot logo. I'm surprised they didn't put an 86 logo. Pretty weird, but it's probably because it wouldn't be visible. But here we can see that we have the whole layout right here. Basically, the Decepticons enter through that hole. They rip open the ship. They shoot Brawn. Prowl begins to act, and then Ironhide, he gets killed. Ironhide and Ratchet begin to act, and they get killed as well. So to recreate those scenes, you can put those characters right there. But I do find it funny that why do we get this backdrop when this should be the backdrop for the Decepticons, and we should be getting the backdrop that we got for our previous Ironhide, because I'm just saying that our previous Ironhide backdrop looks more present for those specific characters than this one does. This one looks present for the Decepticon characters and not for the Autobots. The Autobots were facing on this side, basically where the camera is, and the Decepticons were coming in from that hole. So we're basically seeing it from the Autobots' perspective, or you could put the Autobots like this, ready to fire at the Decepticons or something. So yeah, I'm just saying this backdrop wasn't really the correct choice, but it's not that bad. I really do like that they're hinting out maybe we're gonna get some 86 Devastator Constructicons or Megatron, Soundwave Seekers, who knows, but like we could get something in the future pretty soon. Take these figures a step further. I brought in the Teletron 1, or the little machine thing in the arc that was present in the Transformers Kingdom show, and we can see that honestly it looks pretty well. It gives that G1 vibe to it, and I feel like that this would probably be a good display piece in the background of Ironhide and Prowl getting assassinated by these Decepticons. I think that would be pretty well done if we have that, and maybe if Hasbro creates some sort of other type of thing that will connect to this, and maybe if they created other things that make like a miniature version of the arc, that would be pretty sick on Hasbro's part and insane if we got that. So I really hope that something could happen in the future for these characters. But nonetheless, I was just showing you this for a little diorama piece, I did want to show you these pieces right here that are specific to these characters. We have six brand new blaster accessories, and the middle ones are in fact the same sculpt that we've got for the Siege blaster accessories, but now these tip pieces and the base pieces are completely different new sculpt. They are curved, so they have some similarity to the original, but they are curved, and then this one as well is curved, basically to show that the Decepticons have fired on Ironhide and Prowl, and they are bleeding to their death, and they are exploding internally and stuff like that. So you could basically put it on Ironhide, put the same thing on Prowl, whichever you prefer. Maybe if you just want one piece right here, that'd be pretty cool. We can see them exploding to their death, and I think that would be pretty sick if we got to see that in like a new movie as well. Here we're gonna start off with transformation. First, we're gonna start off with Prowl. So basically, when you get this figure out of the packaging, ooh, you're playing with it and everything. So the first thing you're gonna have to do is, I do recommend putting your attention toward the legs. Get these gray plastic pieces, flip them upward, and then do flip this down as well. Flip this one upwards and flip that one down as well. Then if you want to, you could connect them already if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. These pieces, you can move them right now or later. I prefer to do them later. Right here, you lift these shoulder pieces right here, revealing that there is a little tab and there is a slot right there on this piece to show that they didn't disconnect or anything. So then after that, you can lift this whole region like so. Now that we get that. And then you're going to close this panel right here. Close it right there. And it doesn't really close all the way from it. Oop, there it did. There it goes. It went in. Never mind. So make sure it clicks all the way. Don't be afraid to break it or anything. It won't break. So then after that, you're going to rotate the arms about 90 degrees. You're going to fold them in like so. Make sure that you fold them in so that the tires are now facing outward. So then after that, you are then gonna rotate this whole waist region like so. Then you are gonna push these leg pieces inside the feet like that. So now that we have that pushed in, you're gonna connect that, tab that in You can see how the car form is already forming. We're going to lower the arm pieces, make sure they are straightened out. Move Prowl's head around if you want to, just some minor touches. Just move the arm pieces down, and then you are then going to connect them right here. Move these gray plastic pieces down. Those gray plastic pieces are mostly for when he is in robot form. And just tab in everything right here. And there, here we have Prowl transform into that really cool police car mode. And it only took me about a minute, or I'm sorry, 2 minutes to do so. We get some nice detailing right here. Probably looks like he did crash or something. So yeah, I really do like that. I'm pretty sure they could have painted this region, kind of a missed opportunity if they were remolding this figure, because the original had transparent blue plastic. I really do like this version. Same thing applied with Ironhide. The original had no battle damage and it had transparent blue plastic. Now I really wish they would have given us this for versions of these characters, transparent blue plastic, no battle damage, like our the battle damage is removable and movable around. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. Right here, we get some nice detailing. We get this cop siren thing. Note, when you get this figure out of the packaging, his gun and the siren will be in like some sort of paper, like some, I forget what type of paper it's called, but they are gonna be in paper. So yeah, just remember to open it all the way, because I almost threw away this piece unknowingly that it was there. So yeah, and then to connect the gun, you just simply push circular port in the square hole. Yeah, doesn't make sense, but yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, that is basically Prowl. Now let's take a look at Ironhide. Ironhide here is basically the same transformation that we got for our previous version. So yeah, this one will be quite easy and quite fast. So the first thing you're going to have to do is open this chest region right here, if I do remember correctly. Open this, push the head in, unhook these pieces right here, make sure they pop out. And once that is out, you close this, so we can see the engine part already forming. We're gonna see this part right here unattached right here, and then you are exposed to two little joints right here. After you move that piece down, you're gonna move this all the way around like so, and then you're gonna close this right here like that, so that we get that. And then after that, basically the cab part of the car is done. You are then gonna move the arms inside the body like so, like this. You're going to fold the hands inside. You're going to fold these hands inside as well. Then you are going to connect these two pieces right there. And then make sure that these two do, in fact, fold downward. Make sure like his hand looks kind of broken-ish. You're going to do that. Then you're going to put most of your attention toward the feet area. So the feet area right here is in fact really important. It's most of the back part of the car. So yeah, so we have this whole region. You are then going to open this region right here, this region as well. Open this and open that. Connect these two halves together if you want to do so already. Make sure this folds all the way up like so. Make sure this starts to close over it. This one as well starts to close over it. Now these panels right here are supposed to go right here, so we are then going to move this whole torso region more toward the car. Like I said, make sure these pieces are in fact pointed out, like if his arm is broken. I'm gonna connect these two pieces right here. Now that we've done that, we're gonna unhook these pieces right here. Unfold the feet. Unfold this part of the feet. But you're also gonna have to make sure that this is also always facing like this, and it is quite difficult to do so because the transformation, honestly, it's kind of a pain sometimes, but it is very clever and very ingenious on how they made this. So off camera, I did fix this region. I did have to I had to retap some pieces right here, and I had to close this as well. So yeah, basically when you have that done, after you've read the instructions and everything, I did notice that I did have the hands out. Now you are gonna push them in after that. Then you're going to lift these flaps right here. So yeah, they are basically invisible. You can't really see them, which is really clever on Hasbro's part. I really do like how they made that invisible-ish. Then you're going to move this whole region up like so. Then you are then going to connect these pieces inside the rest of the car right here to create the rear end of the cab right here. And then make sure these pieces are connected as well. So we're going to connect this right there, then fold this down as well. And there we have Ironhide fully transformed into that G1 accurate van mode. And here we have Prowl as well. So we can have both of them rolling out in battle together against the Decepticons. Now, as details go, we can see that Ironhide has the yellow stripe present in the original figure that we got back on in the beginning of 2023. He did not have that yellow stripe, yellow stripe. I'm not so sure why they come on, it's just a yellow stripe. I'm not so sure why Buzzworthy has it and the original does not. It's kind of frustrating that we got this and we got this, but we got this. So if they were giving us all of this, they should have also given us a clean version and a broken version. I'm just saying, it would have been better if they given us two versions. Same thing goes for Prowl. If they've given us a broken version of this piece, they could have also given us a clean one. They could have listed instructions how to unscrew the pieces and screw them back in. That would have been better, but maybe it's because of safety rules and regulations and stuff. I'm not so sure. So yeah, that is basically Ironhide and Prowl in their vehicle forms. And I did want to mention something that you can, similar to the original, put the blasters right here, but I in fact like them right here instead. I just discovered that recently right now, that if you put them right here, it does look like mufflers at the back of a vehicle, and I personally like how it looks like. It looks really nice. It does give it kind of a more realistic vibe to the figure. So yeah, that was basically Ironhide and Prowl in their vehicle form. Now let's see how they compare with other vehicles. So here we have Ironhide and Prowl compare next to most of the G1 Autobots. So first off, I have probably like the majority of the G1 cast. I still need more characters, but first off, we're gonna do some first size comparisons on Ironhide and Prowl, so we can see how big Ironhide and Prowl are to each other. We can see Ironhide is in fact around 5 inches, while Prowl is around 4 inches. So we can see how big Ironhide and Prowl are to each other. A van, a police car. I'm pretty sure this is accurate to something in the 1980s. Now let's check out the size of, let's say, the main hero of Transformers, Optimus Prime. So moving in Optimus Prime right here, we can see that Ironhide is in fact around the same size as the cab of Optimus. We can see right there that the feet barely pop out right here, making it straight. So Optimus is slightly bigger, and it would take probably exactly 2 Ironhides to complete Optimus Prime. And one of the main comparisons that we're also doing is our new Ironhide and our new Ironhide. How I said before, broken windscreen, missed opportunity, clean windscreen, no G1 accuracy. So yeah, but which one you prefer, it comes down to your personal preference. I personally like this one, but if it had that completed green screen, I'm saying that this would be a 10 out of 10. It is so far a 9. So after we have seen that, let's see how Ironhide and Prowl compare next to the other Autobots. So let's start off here with Hot Rod. We can see Hot Rod is around the same size. They are both Voyagers, and they both consider Voyagers, and they're both on the deluxe side. Here we can see Trax, Cliff Jumper compared to Ironhide. We can see how they compare next to him. They are in fact smaller. Getting in Prowl into the mix, comparing Prowl next to Ironhide right here. I'm sorry, Trax. We can see Prowl is in fact taller than Trax, but as far as length goes, they're exactly the same. So I did like that all of the G1 characters in their car forms are mostly around the same size. Wheeljack and Prowl, we can see that Wheeljack is wider, and he is a bit longer as well compared to Prowl. So if I brought them in here for a landscape portrait, you can see that Wheeljack is of course bigger, and we can tell that Inferno here as well is bigger than both Ironhide and Prowl together. So Inferno is one of the bigger Autobots in this collection. Now that we have done that, these two smaller Autobots, Huffer and Pipes, they're mainly the same sculpt, so we can see how they stack next to Ironhide and Prowl. See next to Ironhide, see next to Prowl, how they scale as well. And now for one final comparison, let's bring in our Studio Series Jazz. One of my favorite figures that I got, I'm not saying my first one, but one of my favorite figures I got on the 86 line. And he is in fact bigger than Prowl, and he is smaller than Ironhide. And he was a Porsche, this is a police car, so maybe this is accurate, maybe in the 1980s, I'm not so sure. But this actually looks pretty nice. I really hope to see Jazz, Ironhide, and Prowl in future installments in the Transformers movie, as in G1 they were really amazing characters. So now that wraps up this video. Let me give you my final thoughts of these figures. So some final thoughts for the Transformers Studio Series 86, number 24 Ironhide, and 20 Prowl. Honestly, I just give this set probably a 8 out of 10, honestly. Due to the fact that they did not try to include something, like, they had so much missed opportunities with this. They could have included some new stuff. Because I remember in the G1 show, Ironhide had a showcase of weapons and different types of stuff. And Prowl had some unique things as well. And if they were going to make this box set that had a lot of room in the box, they could have added that wasn't present with the original figure, which would have been more bang for your buck. I did buy this at Target for $16, so that was really convenient when I purchased it and when I found it. So when you try to find it at the store, I hope you could find it at that price as well. Another thing that I did want to mention is that this figure has, the Ironhide figure has the G1 colors present, while the original does not. And so the same thing applies to Prowl. If you got the original Prowl from Siege a few years back, that had transparent blue plastic, while this one has new solid blue animation G1 accuracy plastic, if you want to say so. His compatibility with these Blastafix and these new Blastafix were really great, I'll tell you that. I did like everything, the sculpt work, the engineering, and it was pretty fun to use around and play with. They scale well with the other Transformers and other Decepticons, Autobots. It was such a shame in that scene where they got killed off in the movie where Megatron literally says "Die Autobots," and well, they basically died. Ironhide was the last one getting killed. Prowl was the second. Brawn was the first to act, and Ratchet was one of the other ones that died as well during the crossfire. So yeah, it was pretty unfortunate that we got these fan favorite characters to die so early off in the film, but it was just because Hasbro wanted to make money off of these figures as well. Another thing to mention about these figures is that the Ironhide sculpt is going to be the exact same thing as Ratchet, as you've already seen per the Hasbro PulseCon that got revealed a while back. So we will be getting the same sculpt that we got for Ironhide, but with the Ratchet colors and Ratchet head sculpt. So yeah, as far as Prowl, that we're going to get a regular version of him, we do not know at the moment. As far as we know, we have no number for 8618. That's probably going to go to Hound, but I'm not so sure what's going to happen to Prowl, if he's going to get a new mold or anything, or if we're just going to stick with this one. Well, that about wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave a nice comment, and until my next review, I will see you then. Thank you for watching.
No! Such heroic nonsense.